Good morning, family. Figured we'd go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. Let's take just some quiet time. Some time for ourselves. Let's look at the leaves that have fallen on the floor. How beautiful the trees look, changing colors. And let's give thanks. Let's give thanks that we're still here, and if we're still here, that means that we still have work to do. If you are still here, you still have work to do. Some of us are in so much pain right now. I've been feeling that deeply. So much pain and really not sure how to pull yourselves out. You're sad, you're depressed, you're feeling a little bit hopeless. I've been feeling that so much this week, and I've been sharing messages about what was coming this week. A lot of emotions rising. So let's just walk. I'm gonna tell you a story, because I meant to post this Monday, November 4th, but this week has been a challenging week for me. Oh man, there's a funeral. Damn. Luz for their spirit. Damn. Oh, I had chills everywhere. Woo! Shit! Oh, damn. Okay, let me keep moving. Let's look at these beautiful trees. It's beautiful out. Let me find myself a spot to sit with you for a minute. Let's sit. November 4th, 2003. November 4th, 2003. It was November 4th, 2003. I was working at a major magazine, a major publishing company. And it was a day like any other day. I answered phones, I scheduled appointments, I managed calendars, I did expense reports, I did spreadsheets, I did a lot of different kinds of reports, a lot of data entry, a lot of file management. I was the executive assistant to a vice president and also an executive director for corporate sales. He was a creative director. And I just started my work there because I moved to New York. I moved back to New York in 2002 from Florida, and landed this amazing job. I thought I had made it, right? I wanted to be in publishing. In publishing, I would be pursuing my career as a writer. The only writing that I was really doing was editing of emails or editing of, memos that went out daily to staff, or organizing, major sales meetings. November 4th, 2003 would be the day I found my boss and mentor dead in his office. When I started at this job, I started as a temp, and I was really struggling. I was really struggling to provide for my daughter. I was really struggling to save enough money to have an apartment. I was living with my aunt for a time and then with my uncle in Far Rockaway. And we were really struggling. I mean, we had sacrificed so much, and I had lost everything that I had saved for this move back to New York. I had about $4,000 saved, and because of a huge fuck up, I lost everything and had to pay it back. I had to pay off a debt before that move, and so things were really unstable and really fucked up and really scary. But he saw something in me. This boss saw something in me. Kevin Belden. He was fabulous. Dressed fabulous. Was an incredible boss and mentor. He treated everyone like equals. It was the first time that I had worked for someone that made you feel like you were part of the team. You didn't work for him, you worked with him. And so I was really appreciative of the culture that he created. So fast forward, I get to New York, I land this job, I'm temping, and my contract is up. And he says, I don't know what I'm gonna find you. I don't know what you're gonna do here, but I need you to come. I need you to just trust that something's gonna open up. I'm gonna get you something permanent. Even if you have to sit in the bathroom all day, I'm gonna find you something. And literally, I would come in every single day. He didn't have much for me to do. I was doing like product fulfillment. So like if you had participated in a magazine contest and had won like, a bag from Self or Jane or Vogue or whatever, I was doing this product fulfillment. Now I was definitely hanging in the bathroom a lot because there wasn't like a desk for me. And then one day a job came up and I had applied and I became his executive assistant and then the executive assistant to a VP. So shit was shifting, shit was changing, shit was looking up. November 4th, 2003, he had a meeting to go to. It was 3-something. And I'm buzzing because I'm like, yo, Kev, you have an appointment. Are you ready? No answer. So I thought he left. I thought he had gotten his limo and left. I'm knocking on the door, no answer. I get the key from my desk. I unlock his door and I see him with his head on his arms. He had died. He had died of a heart attack. My life would never be the same after that moment. And my life would never be the same after that moment because what I did was something so common for me. Like I kept it moving. I went to work. I went to work every single day like I had always done. And I went to work right after he died. Like the very next day I was in his office. I wanted to make sure that nobody touched his shit. I wanted to make sure that it was me that was handling his things with care. I didn't want anybody near his things. I was very territorial, very possessive, very protective of him because I loved him. And his mother came to the office and she told me to take anything that I wanted from his office. And like, what could I want from his office, right? So I took a candle that he had on his desk. I took a cactus that he had on his desk. And I also took the last agenda he was using or writing in at the time. When Kevin died, I didn't process it. I didn't heal from it. I didn't work it out. I kept moving. I kept going back to this place every single day and reliving this moment, right? Every single day of going back into this office, going through the revolving doors, going up the elevator to the 18th floor, opening his office, a new boss is there, opening up that door every day, like reliving the trauma, and not really dealing with it and healing from it until I couldn't. it got to a point where I had to have meetings with the head of HR to see if I could be placed somewhere else because the pain was just too much. It was just too much. And I just needed something. And she found me a role at a magazine. And I was excited. This was a huge fashion and beauty magazine. And I was going to be the executive assistant to the editor-in-chief. And I had made it. Now I was going to finally be able to write. Kevin had blessed me with something great. This is 2004. Beginning of 2004. Now, all of that time, from November 3rd, 2003, and all of 2004, most of 2004, I had stopped writing. It would be almost a year to the day of his anniversary that I would even pick up a pen. So when I went to work for this beauty magazine, literally my first day of work, the editor-in-chief was fired. The editor-in-chief was fucking fired. I lost my job on the first day. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is happening? Loss was happening. It was this cycle of loss, of trauma, repeating itself. I just got there and lost her in a day. I was like, what the fuck? That day I had to pack up all her shit because she was leaving the premises. I was floating around. I became like a temp again. Different magazines, supporting where I could, and landed a job at a startup magazine, a lifestyle magazine, a home decor magazine. And I was going to be supporting an editor-in-chief. And I was like, okay, here we are. I'm going to write. This is great. The woman that I worked for was rotten at the core. She was a horrible human being. She was dishonest. She was full of herself. She was insecure. She was inadequate. She was not as smart as me. Out here confirming my truth. She was on a power trip. There's nothing sadder than an insecure soul. There's nothing sadder than someone who wants to disempower you when they see your light, when they want to dim your shine. They want to dim your shine because they can't access what it is that you possess. And so I worked for this horrible human being for a long time. And I just did my job. I fetched her coffee, toasted her bagel just right, planned her children's parties, bought her makeup at Sephora. I served her. I didn't work with her. I worked for her. I was her servant. That position was beginning to break me and eat at my soul. I was forgetting who the fuck I am or who the fuck I was. There was one day that she needed help carrying all of these portfolios for a photographer. Different photographers had sent their portfolios in, and she was going to meet with the CEO and was bringing these portfolios for a meeting. I had a stack, she had a stack, and we took the elevator together, and we were walking on the floor, and I guess my strides were a little bit longer than hers, and I was walking ahead of her, and she actually said to me, let me go in first, let me go in first. She wanted me to walk behind her. And I thought that shit was crazy. I did not understand what the fuck that was about. And I remember going into therapy and talking to Dr. R and saying, yo, let me tell you this little ditty. This and this and this. And she was like, you understand what that was, right? And I'm like, no, what the fuck was that? And she said, she was threatened by you. When you and her walk into the room, who looks like the editor-in-chief? Who looks like the person in control with the power? You do. And I was like, what? Me? Because I didn't see that. I absolutely wasn't seeing the power in me. That was a revelation.
I'm not cold. Trust and believe me.
Fast forward.
If I was cold, I'd have been in there. There's just too many people inside there. I don't want to be in there.
It's October.
Did you at least use the bathroom?
2004.
So
October 6, 2004.
Because you texted me and asked me if I was with the doctor.
I was awoken from my sleep. There was a dream, and it was Kevin whispering, get up.
All right, but
Get up and write, get up and write. And I picked up my pen, my computer, and I began to look at my historical fiction, The Daughters of the Revolution, and I was revisiting everything that I had created. I felt powerful. I put my makeup on, I put my heels on, I put on my pinstripe skirt that I bought with a beautiful gift certificate Kevin had given me. My Max Mara black skirt, my pencil skirt, a beautiful white top, red lipstick, and I was feeling myself. I was back, and I was strong. And my daughter wasn't at school that day, so she came into work with me. And when she would have days off, I would put her in a cubicle, and she would just play and do her own thing while I would work. So this day I was feeling myself, and I get to work, and this boss is barking orders at me, speaking down to me. Everything that I had felt about myself was completely diminished. I felt small. And I remember going to sit with my daughter during lunch. I didn't want to eat anything. She was slurping these noodles, and I was crying in hysterics in front of her. And she was like, Mommy, what's wrong? And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And she's like, Mommy, if you're so unhappy, quit. If you're so unhappy, quit. And I looked at her, and it was like the wisest shit ever said to me. Like Spirit was speaking right through her in that moment. And I marched over to my boss's office. I knocked on the door. She was in a meeting, editorial meeting, and I pulled her out, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I quit. She was like, I'm out. I quit. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with you. I'm done with being treated this way. I'm out. She didn't have any words. I took my purse. I took my kid.
Yeah.
We rolled on. We left. I wish I could say that that moment gave me my power back. What it did was it spiraled me. I was devastated. Had I just quit my job, my daughter didn't know what she was saying. She was trying to make me, happy. Like, how does mommy get happy? If you're not happy, leave that. It just was obvious for her, a little girl. But she wasn't thinking the bills and the 401k and security and all this stuff. When I got home, I just was a mess. It was the thing that spiraled me to this nervous breakdown. They had officially broken me down. I was a mess. I was talking crazy. I wanted to abandon everything, abandon everyone. I wanted to leave New York. I wanted to leave my daughter. I wanted a new identity, a new name. I wanted to start new somewhere else where nobody knew me. I was talking crazy. And I remember reaching out to a friend who had me come and stay with her. And she took care of me. And she was taking care of my daughter. She had run this... Well, no. Let me rewind. So when I have the nervous breakdown, I'm also in NYU studying. And I'm in the middle of a class. And in the middle of the class, I break down. When I break down crying, I get up and I walk over to the fountain over there in Washington Square. And I sit there and I call my therapist and I tell her that I'm about to bounce, that I'm about to leave, that I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And she tells me, get up. Get up, Alicia, and walk. Get up and walk. I want you to walk, I want you to walk, I want you to walk, I want you to walk. And so I did that. I kept walking. I walked from West 4th that day to like 80 something. And as I'm walking, I noticed this sign for a massage. It was like an $80 massage. I'm like, bitch, you ain't got no job, but maybe a massage is just what you need right now in your life. And I went in and I got this massage from this beautiful African brother who just like worked all of the things. I was crying during it and he was like, am I being too rough? And I'm like, no. He was shifting everything. He was opening me up. It was a lot. After the massage, I went to this friend's house and I stayed with her because she wanted to take care of me. She wanted to run a bath for me. She wanted to take care of my daughter. She wanted to order food for me. When she runs this bath for me, I'm there and I'm starting to feel woozy and nauseous, and literally I begin purging. I begin throwing up. I am purging. I'm releasing for what feels like 20 minutes. Things just came out of my body. I was releasing all of the toxins. I was releasing all of the hurt. I was releasing all of the pain, all of the sadness, all of the betrayal, all of the devastation, all of the letdowns, all of the loss, all of the solitude, all of the everything that I've been holding, everything that hurt me, all of the grief was rising and coming out of me, was being released from me. I was being free of it. So let's walk. Let's walk, because what's happening to us right now is a sign that we need to move, that we need to move, that we need to do something different, that we can't keep doing the same shit over and over again, that we can't keep holding this pain in. We need help. Ask for help. I had my therapist, right? So I could call her and she answered and she was there. Call someone. Keep calling them until they show up. You are not alone. You are not alone. So let's walk. Life has not been easy for me. I know pain, I know grief, I know loss, I know devastation, I know poverty, I know hunger, I know depression, but I also know faith. And if there's one thing that I know, my faith and my spiritual practice has been the thing to help me through, to get me out, to give me light. And so that's what I'm wishing for you today. I'm wishing you light. All right? Sending you love, family. Peace.